Hey, y'all, I'm Shane Sams, the host of the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. Super excited to be back with you again today. And I'm excited because we have got an amazing success story on the podcast today from a good friend of ours from the Flipped Lifestyle community. His name is Bill Giovannetti. Now, Bill, just met him a few months ago. He came into the stuff of the Flipped Lifestyle blueprint, and he was completely lost. He had all the pieces of the puzzle scattered around the table, but he had lost the box top. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how all the pieces fit together to start, build, and grow a successful membership site. And Bill jumped into one of my Flipped Lifestyle community workshops, and we taught him a couple things on how to set up his sales funnel, how to fix things, and how to kind of rework what he was doing in there. And then he took massive action on the Membership Masters newsletter. That is my monthly print newsletter over at membershipmasters.com, where I actually send out a marketing plan on paper, mailed to your door every month to people who run membership sites so that they know what to do every single day of the month in their marketing. They know how to promote their memberships and get more people to join. And I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview here, people. But Bill did exactly what the November issue of Membership Masters said. And he had a promotion that generated over $30,000 in a single week. It's an absolutely mind-blowing story. His goal was to buy a mattress for his wife. That's what that was. He wanted to upgrade his bed, and man, he blew that out of the water. And we're going to tell that story of how he did it today and how you can follow Bill's lead. And you can go out there and you can get that membership going. You can build your membership and you can really take it to the next level. So Bill's a great guy, man. You're going to be so inspired today. And I am pumped that you are going to get to listen to this amazing success story so that you can get inspired, so that you can go take action. You can get out there and create an online business that's going to change your family's future as well. That's all I got right now. I'll talk to you a little bit after the interview, but let's jump into the show. Welcome to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Great to be back with you again this week. Super excited to talk to another member of the Flipped Lifestyle community. And I am pumped, man, because today we're going to be celebrating an amazing win, an amazing success story from one of our Flipped Lifestyle community members. And I told him before we came on air, this was such a big success story, I may have to upgrade him from Flipped Lifestyle community member to membership master. I am pumped to welcome Bill Giovannetti to the program today. What's up, Bill?
Hey, man, great to be here. I thought I was already at the pinnacle.
No, man. That's the next step, brother. Next step. That's the first step.
That's awesome. Super excited to be here. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to get into your background and all that good stuff because we got to bring everybody up to speed. But I want to jump straight in to this launch / Black Friday / is this going to work sale that we've been orchestrating now for a few weeks. Tell everybody what happened on Black Friday.
Okay, so on Black Friday, following the exact steps, I'm a step-by-step guy, and it's really helpful to have step-by-step instructions in the newsletter and in the membership. And we had basically a $33,000 month. I'm not a $33,000, I should say, week. I'm not all about the money, but it was really validating and really important. It also helps me keep going with the membership that I have. We took on 38 lifetime members, 7 new monthly members. Of those 38, over half of them had never been members before.
Wow.
So that was just brand new. And then we had 5 take on another level of classes that I'm offering, which was even more. And then there were a few other things along the way, but it was just a real miracle to see what happens. Well, it's okay. So it's a combination of a miracle and wisdom that came together to really be a blessing for me and my family for Black Friday. It was awesome.
Dude, It's crazy. Like, I mean, I just love it, man. I just love this story so much. And we're going to get into we're going to unpack how this happened and what you do and all that good stuff. But man, I was just so excited and so happy when I saw the messages coming in the Facebook group and the community. You said something funny. Like, I don't remember if it was before or after, but you said, my goal is I want to buy a new mattress. I want to buy a new mattress for my wife. That's what I want to do. I got one goal on Black Friday. Can I get a new mattress? And I'm like, you can buy the mattress factory now. You can hire someone to make you a custom mattress if you want to do that.
My aching back. And that was one of the things. We've kind of been putting it off and wanted to divert some money to Christmas gifts and all of that. We have two teenage kids, but that just creates a lot of freedom and creates a lot of reinvestment back into the
choices, baby.
The online school that I'm doing.
Yeah, lots of choices, man. And it isn't all about the money. But one lesson I learned early in my online business journey, and I'm so glad that I heard, I don't even remember who said it, is that because I would love to give credit to someone for this, because it really did change my mindset, is that money makes the mission possible. You can't have.
That's good.
It's just the exchange that we use in our society. We don't love money. Money is a tool. Money is agnostic. It has no pluses or minuses. But you know what? Money makes the mission possible. And now we can make your mission possible because we got a ton of money to invest back in it. So let's stop right there. Okay. Tell our listeners more about you, more about your background, and more about what you are doing online.
Okay. So my name is Bill Giovannetti. I am a pastor. I've been a pastor for several decades now. And I started in ministry in Chicago. I'm originally from Chicago, lived there almost all of my life. The last about 18 years I've been in California as a pastor of a church here. And I grew up in the city of Chicago public schools. First person in my family to finish high school. Most people say to finish college. I'm the first person in my family to actually finish high school.
That's amazing, dude. What a crazy generational shift, you know?
Totally is. And a wonderful family. But from my earliest days, I had a real interest in the Bible. So I grew up in, I don't know how many listeners have heard of Awana clubs, but those are clubs for boys and girls.
Oh, I remember that. I remember Awana. Oh, yeah.
Awana is awesome. I grew up in Awana clubs in a little church in Chicago. It was awesome. But I just grew up with this hunger for God and the Bible. And honestly, I don't know where it came from. My family was great, but they really weren't into God, or I was dropped off at church. My family didn't go. I was dropped off at church. And my aunt was there, but I just had a hunger to go deep into the Bible. And that's been with me ever since I was a little boy. So along the way, I've been a pastor. I've been a professor in a couple of schools and seminaries. And I've also been an author. So all those things have been in me. And for a while, I've had this growing concern with where some parts of Christianity are headed. And I don't know how much I can get into that or you want to, but, and I've just had this kind of ache and a concern. And after a while, I thought, well, you're going to whine about it, or are you going to do something about it?
Sure.
So I decided to do something about it. And that's what this is about.
So this online membership that you've set up, it kind of functions like an online seminary. Is that the way I understand it? Right. Where you train up leaders and pastors and, sound doctrine and things like that. Is that correct?
That's correct. Veritas School of Biblical Ministry. It is an unaccredited master's level program in theology. And it's not really for, we have some pastors, but it's for everyday people who just want to go deeper. I never had the chance.
That's amazing.
It's seminary for people who never thought seminary was possible because they have a day job or because they weren't called into professional ministry. And they've wanted that stuff. And, most people who are in a church or in any field, you get your learning in scraps and bits and pieces, and they're disconnected. And if you've grown up in the church for years, you've learned a little here, there's a sermon, there's a book, there's a radio program or whatever, and it's never put together for you. So it seems like a contradictory jumble. It's basically the puzzle without the top.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do is give you the top. And here's how these things fit together. Here's how to make sense of these things. And here's why we believe what we believe. And, I'm really old fashioned in my theology and all of that. and there's reasons for it. And so we've got these classes that we're working our way through a whole program. You would get the same. I've taught in seminary. This is the same level of teaching, but none of the hoops, assignments are optional. It's not about the grade. It's just about learning. And there's been a real hunger and a real appetite. I didn't know, when I started it, I didn't know if people would even be interested in this. But
boy, they are, because they proved it with their wallets, man.
And I love it. I'm happy because, and one of the cool things is we've got some younger students who are in college. They're full-time college students, and they're taking this program, and they're just crushing it. I mean, they're amazing, and it just gives me hope for the next generation. They
don't have kids, so they can do whatever they want with their time. That's really what's happening there, Bill. Let's be honest, right? That's why they're crushing it. But it's cool because, I think the reason that we love the membership model, it is a good business model. It definitely makes money, and it's definitely made some money for us. And we've seen it go to work in individual families' lives for sure. Like that's, helping the individual family is definitely what we're all about, Yeah. But at the same time, I think the reason that I loved this model, I remember the moment I realized we had a membership, and I remember it being explained to me. And you've got a membership. This is what it is. This is what memberships do. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, no other business model can help you impact the world like this, because I can throw my stone and I can hit the pond and I can watch the ripple go out and hit 100 of my members, but then they can go out and they can impact people past that. So this is a real, the membership model is perfect for movements. It's perfect for that, where you're okay, you can't go to seminary because you don't have time to go live on campus. You don't have time. You got a kid, you got a wife, you got a job. You can't afford the tuition at some of these seminaries these days because they're just charging so much. And, but guess what? You can get the same experience, the same learning through this, and you're still going to grow, and you're still going to get all of the things that you would have gotten from going to seminary, but I'm going to bring it to you. And that's a movement. That's something that wasn't possible 25 years ago. That's something that is only possible now because of our technology and the things we have, but it's really possible because of the membership model. You can bring in dozens, hundreds of members, and they can connect with each other, and you can build connections within the community. You can lead them, and not only can you give them a result, but you get to watch that result go bloom in the world after they leave or finish your program, Yeah,
exactly right. And, I've listened to you for a long time, listened to the podcasts, and finally, bit the bullet and jumped in. We could talk about that. But
what made you do that? What made you jump in?
Well, first of all, hearing you and really being inspired, and, it never occurred to me. I mean, I've got notes and I've got a ton of material, right? And it just never occurred to me, membership, or basically that seminary is a membership.
Yes, it is.
Right?
College is a membership, right?
College is you're joining as a member, which they call students.
Yep.
And you are enrolled, and you're paying not only monthly, pretty much forever, depending on.
You're paying monthly, definitely, for a lot of months, like 30 years, basically.
I think that was kind of the bing when the light bulb moment, and then hearing what you just said. Why you love the membership model, because it is a movement. And if you're passionate about your thing, which I am, and I have been all my life, since I was teaching Bible studies when I was in high school. I mean, go figure. Just, the nerd hat here, but I got it started, and I'm answering your question. Why did I jump in? What made me jump in? I needed clarity on how to put this thing together. I began to realize that this is a really beast of a machine, and there's the teaching aspect, and then there's the technical interface, but then there's the whole back end. And all of it, by the way, people don't realize how much it costs. There's a cost to putting together all this material and to running websites and all of that. And when you get into a Christian element, people want it to be free, or they're a little upset. And I've got a ton of free stuff, and I direct people to. I mean, you can get tons and tons of free stuff. I read my books on my podcast, and you can get this stuff. You don't have to pay me, but if you really want to go deep and really want to commit, here it is. Get some skin in the game. So I joined. You send out an email. I'm not on your email list, and I did that thing where I fill it out halfway and stop, and fill it out halfway and stop. few times. And finally said, you know what? Something's got to give me a breakthrough here. And I'm pretty sure Flip Lifestyle and Shane can do this. And so I bit the bullet and hopped in. And as you discovered, I thought this was all video replay. I didn't even know we'd be live. And so, yeah, you got me even on the replay. But you know what? The return on that, more than paid for in a month. I mean, 10 times.
Yeah.
Like
you definitely got your money back off joining really fast.
I thank you. My new mattress thanks you. My wife thanks you.
What'd your kids think when this was happening?
I showed them the results, and my daughter, who's much more expressive, is like, "Wow, that's amazing!" Because to them, this was just a thing Dad was doing on the side, and it is. I mean, I've got a full-time job. I'm a pastor. That's my priority, and but my daughter was like, "That's awesome!" She was so excited. My son. Said, "Wow, that's good." And then later on, he texted me, "You're a good investor." Just like that.
That's right. That's amazing, man. Dude, that's a seed though that is planted now in those kids' minds, and it will flavor their decisions. Even if it's like, how like they say, if an asteroid's ever coming, we're gonna nudge it. We just got to nudge it early, right? So we can get it to kind of barely miss us. You know what I mean? Because it adds up. But like that's one of those nudge moments in those kids' lives when they see something.
I'm going to
like
use that in a sermon.
Man. Yeah, the nudge. You just got to give it a little nudge, and it's gonna not kill you. But like now when they're in college or when they're thinking about careers, they're going to always have that seed in their mind, like, well, this is kind of what the world says I'm supposed to do, but I saw Dad do that once, and I heard about this redneck from Kentucky who did it too. So it can't be that hard. And then I heard about all these other people.
They know your voice from my.
I guarantee it. You play them in the car. Do you play them in the car?
Oh yeah,
that's amazing, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. It's just seeing it. My son, he just got Pro Presenter, which is an editing software from Adobe, and he's learning how to edit. And what my grand scheme is, I'm going to teach him how to edit, right? And then I'm going to teach him how to edit our Q&As up for YouTube. And I'm really just secretly trying to plant all the answers to those questions as he's editing them, like so he can listen to them while he's doing it. And he'll think I'm going to pay him. He'll think it's cool. He can get a little editing in. But I don't know when you're going to need this. But it's like memorizing the books of the Bible in order, and it's like getting that verse or two in when you're in first grade.
I mean, they're
going to rise back up eventually.
People, you talk about a drip feed.
Yes,
and that's parenting, right? That's what Moses says. When you walk by the way, and when you stand, and when you sit, and when you're eating, and talk to your kids about stuff, you drip it out. Yeah, and there it is. It's in
there somewhere. They just got to access it when they get used to it. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. What So I want to go. Usually I do this future pacing, like right now, what's holding you back, and we can come back and do this again for that because I want to help you take your next step too. Okay, because that's the thing about business is a lot like your faith, and it's a lot like marriage, and it's a lot like family. The biggest myth in all of those is that you get to finish. You never arrive. It doesn't matter what the last success is. You know what I'm saying? Like You're going to keep going. So we want to move forward, but I want to go back in time. Maybe right before you joined, or maybe even right before you sent out that first email of this campaign. What was like a mindset issue that you had to overcome in those moments? Like, how did you, because that's where a lot of people are right now. They're sitting there at home and they keep filling out the form halfway, right? But like, how did you finally get past that? Not just the decision, but what was the mindset that was holding you back? And like, how do you think you kind of triggered it? Like, this is the moment I'm actually going to beat it.
Well, I think so. I'll point to two for sure. One is the difficulty in people who are in ministry talking about money, because everybody kind of thinks that's all you care about. And I had to come to a point as a pastor. I've got a pretty big church in a small town in Northern California. It's a great church, great group of people coming up to Redding, California, Pathway Church. And but people have an attitude that people in ministry are in it for the money. But I had to realize I can't pastor a person unless I can pastor their wallet. I can't pastor a person unless I can pastor their pocketbook, because it's such a big aspect of life.
Yeah.
And I can talk about your sexuality. I can talk about your relationships. I can talk about your career. I can all these things, but the attempt to kind of cordon off this one area of life and say that's a no-no. I mean, it doesn't work that way. All of this is interconnected. And so the spiritual use of money, and for me to get over the hurdle of saying, here, pay this money and I'll teach you God's word. Well, I was doing that as a professor.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
it's
and they're paying 20 times the money.
Yeah.
But not to me. And they're paying for buildings and for campus and for infrastructure, all of which can now be digital. And most of American schools right now are digital. So, that's that. But anyway, that was a mindset issue for me, was feeling, I think it's a sideways version of the imposter syndrome. Like, who are you as a pastor to tell people to give you money to teach them the word of God? And the simple fact is I could not be doing this program without that income.
That's right.
There's a high cost on the back end. There's a high cost to an email system. There's a high cost to a platform to present classes. There's high cost to some of the microphones and everything. It adds up. And I'm not trying to scare anybody off.
No, when we're talking a lot of money here, like we're talking, you're talking $300 to $1,000. We're not saying you got to. Yeah. It's not like renting a building and having a brick and mortar store, but there is a cost to it. Nothing's free. That's not the way it works, because people invent things and they want to get paid for their inventions. So we got to pay them to use them.
My other mindset issue was I have no clue if there's how much interest there is. And I had actually started another online membership that I've set it on the side. I'm going to bring it back, but it was to help families prepare their students for the spiritual challenges of college, because so many kids, 7 out of 10 kids who go to college lose their faith, Christian kids. And I wanted to get ahead of that and kind of inoculate students. So I created all this, but it didn't work. And so I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, lost that. And so I was kind of gun shy, but again, I'm like, is there enough of an interest? There are some ways to gauge that, but at the end of the day, I thought, there's enough of an interest in me that this be supplied to the people of God across the country. And I've got some people actually internationally, which is cool. But there's enough. So I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. And so far, it's been
rocked out.
I'm 1 year in, and it's been awesome. And the students are awesome. It's great.
And those are really common mindset issues. Like I hear that a lot in Christian niches, right? Or niches like getting out of debt. That's another one where people are afraid to charge because, well, these people are trying to get out of debt. Surely they're cheap. And I'm like, yeah, but if you charge them $50 and you save them $500, they win. So like that is a weird argument, right? And here's another couple things I learned along the way about this. Charging, we had a really hard time charging teachers in the beginning because we were teachers. We had this mindset that we were broke, so they had to be broke. And what teacher is going to give you $49 a month, right? And then I realized a couple things. I realized, one, if we're selling to librarians, there's 100,000 of them. I only need like a couple hundred of them. So if 99,800 get mad at me and yell at me and won't pay me, yeah, the other 200 did. So I'll just go and I'll live off that, right? So that was one thing, right? Another thing that I learned, a really good saying, and this is something that everybody should brace, is people who pay attention. Period. Like when you buy something, you pay attention to it. But that gift that someone gave to you for Christmas that you didn't, a pair of gloves, you threw it on the top, you never opened them. No, you got it free. You didn't really think about it. But if you bought a pair of gloves, you're going to wear them gloves till they wear out, right? And we owe it to people to charge for our work, not only because we do have costs, we do make investments, and we have needs that we have to meet, but it actually does, man. People who pay succeed more. I've given the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint away, not just the free trial, but I've given it to people in the past because it was like someone came to me and there was something that was legitimate and I knew it was legitimate. I confirmed it was legitimate and they really just needed a hand up at that moment, right? Not a handout. But you know what happened? They didn't finish. This is a true, honest to goodness story. I've never given a membership to the Flipped Lifestyle community away and they succeed. I don't know what it is, man, but when people put their money where their mouth is, when they vote with their wallet, that resource that they have shared is going to make them pay attention, do the work, and get it done way faster than anything else that you could ever do. And the attention thing is hilarious because you're like, is there a need for this? I mean, come on. I mean, I speak in front of my entire congregation every week, and there's like more of those, right? Like, of course, there's interest in it. Like, and if you can find one, there's where no one is unique. If you can find one person, you can find 1,000 people. They're out there, and we don't need everybody.
That's one of your sayings that's motivated me. You know, if you can find one, you can find 10. If you find 10, you find 100. Find 100, find 1,000. You know,
it's just like building a congregation. It's no different. You know,
and Jesus said, "Where your heart is, there your treasure will be." I mean, your heart and your treasure go together. And if you're not going to invest your treasure, your heart's not in it. That's why they don't finish. You can give it to them, and you know, their heart's not there.
Yeah, they feel better after they get it done because they've invested, right? Yeah. So they don't have to worry about it as much,
right? You know and it's worth it, you know. And one of the cool things, at least for me, is I don't have a lot of places, you know, in the pulpit. I teach the Bible a certain way. I teach the Bible. I try to be in depth, and I try to not shy away from theology, right? So the terms like justification and redemption and propitiation, all that. But that's not everyday language in the church. And if you got to moderate that. But here in Veritas, in the seminary, I'm like, it's just every single thing is explained. But once we have it, we use those words. And the great vocabulary, which is our heritage, has kind of been dumbed down. But there's no field of study. I mean, if you're taking apart a car, there's a fuel injection system, and used to be carburetors. I mean, there was a whole vocabulary everywhere. There's a vocabulary in education. There's a vocabulary in automotive, and any industry, including Christianity.
Yeah.
And those words become placeholders for really big, important ideas. Yeah. Well, we're losing the words. And so we're losing the ideas. And so we're kind of losing the whole, the foundational truths of our faith. And, you know, I just have this kind of passion, this fire in my belly to no. Let's reset the foundation. Let's plant that anchor and not be moved. And one of the things that's neat is seeing all age spectrums. I've got people who have never gone to college. I've got people who are MDs. I've got people who are lawyers. I've got people who are in college, young, old, blue collar, white collar. It's just really, really cool to see this wide spectrum. It's kind of a surprise and really fun, but we can talk about this stuff. There's not a fear now of people going, oh, you're just bragging, or don't, skip the theology, skip the doctrine, skip the depth.
They want to dig. They have self-identified as people who want to dig in your niche because they have paid. Right. Yeah. And that's what's so cool about it, man, is like you gave them the like another thing that I've been really coaching people up on lately. Like, when you do one-on-one coaching, you get really emotionally invested with people. Right. And you really like have to be a partner, I guess is the word, or like not a business partner, but a partner with them in their journey. Right. But when you decide that your movement, your passion is bigger than that, and you want to go, I don't even call it one to many anymore. Like my goal is to go one to the masses, right? That's what I want to go to. I want to move our mission so far into the future that it's literally a mass movement, right? Awesome. But when you go one to masses, something has to happen. You have to stop being outcome focused, and you have to start being opportunity focused. Because if you are so worried about every single person's outcome, you're going to hit a cap of the people that you can influence, right? But if you become opportunity focused, like, look, all this stuff is free, but I'm going to give you a curated path, and I'm going to charge for that path to make you invest in yourself. And I'm going to put you in conversations that are going to help you go deep on hard things that you want to learn because you have self-identified. And some people will love that. Some people will like it for a while, and some people will never get into it. But when you remove yourself from the outcome, like I can't decide if someone's going to go through everything in your seminary and come out the other side better for it. You can't control that. All you can control is I'm investing, I'm providing opportunity, I'm giving you a platform, I'm allowing you to invest in yourself, and I'm connecting you with the people that can help you grow. It's up to you now. That as soon as you do that, you can scale. That's when you can really scale, is when you're like, the outcome, it's like your kids. I want my kids to be great employees and jobs and Christians, and I want them to have a great wife and a life, and I want all these things. But like, I have really taken a kind of an outcome approach to the kids. Like, I'm going to do everything in my power to empower you with opportunity your whole life, more than I've ever had. But it's still going to come down to that kid's going to make a choice or two on the way. He's going to turn left when I thought he should have turned right. And whatever happens, that's cool. That's his life. I love him. I support him. But, but that's still, you can't tie yourself to the outcome of everything. Like the outcome of people saying, oh, you shouldn't be charging. Why are you charging? Yeah, you know what? That outcome made you mad, and you're just going to have to deal with it because I'm providing opportunity to all these people. And that's when memberships grow. That's when memberships really, really blow up, Yeah,
I dig that. I like that a lot. My job is faith. God's job is outcomes.
Yep. Amen.
And we'll just take those steps forward and keep going. I love the idea of the movement. I'm going to want to think and dig more into that. That's
what happens on this podcast, man. We come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. You get your wheels will be turning until the night. You'll be laying in that new bed, looking up at the ceiling, going, "What's going on next?" Right? Yeah, well, let's talk about next. So we've talked about. We haven't talked a lot about businessy stuff. I mean, one of the things that Bill and I did was Bill joined one of my groups. I have pocket workshops within the community that we take people who want to go to the next level and they're at a certain point. Like my workshops cover sales funnels, they cover email marketing. I do these a couple of times a year, and we really worked on the sales funnel, the business thing, right? Like just put the pieces in place and then put the people in it, But what's your challenge right now that so you've got this investment money, you can put some of this money back in, you got your framework and your structure, you've got people. What do you think's the next big thing that's going to hold you back that we're going to have to solve in the next couple of months to take that next step forward?
Probably team. And some of that has to do with, wanting there to be a certain mindset, Christian worldview, Christian value system is part of it. I was looking at some groups that would help with some of the back end business stuff, but they don't come at it from, no judgment on them, but we're just in different places,
right?
In terms of worldview. So building that team and even knowing who, what roles to fill.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is a lot. It's getting to be a lot, and I don't want to keep dropping balls.
All right, so I got a couple things on team. It's so funny. I was just talking. I was recording a podcast for Membership Masters earlier with some really good friends of mine, and I was bringing you up as an example of something, and we just kept laughing, and but they started going like, "Let me talk about Bill again," and we just kept going back and forth because I knew you were on the schedule today, so your ears were probably burning, right? So it was so like, here's a divine appointment for you. After we got off the air, I was helping them put together their team. So I've had a trial run this morning, man. It was ready to go, dude. So the first thing that I always want to remind people when you run a membership and you want to hire a team is to focus on your monthly membership growth. Okay. That's your first job period right now, is growing monthly members, because monthly members create the foundation, the floor that we can count on, that we know we can hire people with, and we know we're going to be able to keep paying them month after month and year after year. Big hits like these promotions we do for holidays and things like that, lifetimes, annual, stuff like that. I view that as one, taking money off the table. Like, I've got these monthly members, let's get some annual members. I get to have that money now. I'm going to be able to enjoy my life. I'm going to be able to invest back in the business. So that's kind of what that's for. But monthly members, quarterly members, that's who pays the bills. Okay. So think about that in terms of your promotions over the next couple months, like flavor anything that we teach you or that you do with, okay, let's get a bunch of monthly members in and start getting, because if you've got someone that makes, I'm just, $4,000 a month, right? And you got a membership that's $100, I'm just going to do easy math. Well, I need 40 members to hire this person, right? So it's an easy game to play as we start hiring people. Now let's talk about actual hiring, okay? So the first thing I would do is go get a book by a guy named Jeff Smart called Who. And I've recommended this book on the air. I'll always give credit to this book, so I don't steal any of the ideas, because I love this book and it's really changed a lot of what we do. But that book is going to help you create what are called job scorecards. People try to hire because they want to get rid of some tasks or they're overwhelmed, okay? Yes. But that's not why we hire. A business owner, a great entrepreneur, an online business owner, offline business owner, you should only hire when the employee can reduce grind and increase profits. It is not just to delegate tasks. We don't spend money to delegate tasks. We can justify spending money sometimes to free us up to do higher level things, but it's a dangerous, slippery slope. You don't want to go down that route. You want to think of everything in your business as, can I reduce my grind to get me into better flow doing the things I love? I still want to work 50 hours a week. I still want to go all in, but I want to only be thinking about the things I love, right? So we hire people that love the things we hate. That reduces grind on both of us. We don't just hire people to do the things. And then we always want to increase profits. So as you're creating job scorecards, you want to think about the tasks, the jobs, and the things like that. And you want to hire people that will accomplish those two goals. Okay. So that book is going to help you write a job scorecard and teach you how to do a hiring process where you go out and find people. All right. Great book. Now, the second thing I would say is when you're building your team, you really want to be as people focused as possible, right? You don't just want to hire operators, although they're necessary sometimes, right? Like we need janitors in buildings, or the CEO can't do his job because everything piles up. We're all interconnected. We all work together, right? We need operators. But you also want to think about people and their personality types and get the right people for the right role. Like we have an awesome team member who's really, really good at like scheduling and stuff, right? And I had her totally on the wrong seat on the bus when I hired her, right? Because I thought she was going to do all these other tasks like I didn't want to do, right? She's going to do SEO and she's going to write these descriptions. And she was like, I hate doing this. And I'm like, okay. But then I realized, wait a minute, she is so organized and she asks so many good questions. And I am terribly not organized and I don't ask questions. I just run forward. And I basically said, you are now the White House Chief of Staff. You are now in charge of the schedules. You're going to keep the trains running on time. You're going to be the project manager. You're going to do all that. As soon as I got her on the right seat on the bus, she became happier. And she even told me on her most recent evaluation, she's like, I think I could do this forever. Wow. And I'm like, dang, man, she's only in her 20s too. Wow. So like, right. So like, that's, I really want to stress like getting the right people for the right objectives. Like, reduce grind, increase profits, and then put the right personality type in those roles. Make sure that these people actually like that task, because then everybody's in that kind of state where they're like, dang, I just worked 5 hours, but it felt like 5 minutes and I don't want to stop. You know, believe it or not, there are people like it always like cringes me. There are people that love spreadsheets and there are people that hate getting on stage and out in front of everybody. And I'm like, it's terrible. Why would you ever do that? But if I can just hire that person to run my spreadsheets, I'm going to be doing my zone of genius and they're going to be their zone of genius and everything's going to like work out. So there's a lot of cool tools out there, Myers-Briggs, Enneagrams, and, you know, you pick your thing that you want to kind of give you a baseline. And also then the third thing is a friend of mine named Chandler Bolt. I forget Chandler's publishing school, I think is what it's called, but he helps people write books, right?
Yep.
And Yep, we were on a mastermind trip one time together, and he told me something I'll never forget. He's like, we get 100 candidates for every job, at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And that's actually easy to source with technology because you can use like workable.com, upwork.com. It's not hard to get that many applicants. They go through the app. They write the job scorecard from the book Who. That's what we do. Then we go to Workable. We get 100 or 200 applicants. Then we read through them all and we filter them down to about 10. And then we go interview them on Zoom. And then there's like 3. And then maybe we do another Zoom round with those 3. And by doing that with the personality type for the job, with the job scorecard in mind, you get someone who's at least close to the right person. Now, you run a church. You put people in jobs all the time. We know that 60% of the time we're going to be right, and 40% we're going to be wrong, right?
Pretty much.
But we're closer. Right? So I think like investing in the hiring process and like investing in like learning that, like thinking about like what you need to accomplish, not what you need to get rid of. I hate that mentality now of getting rid of tasks, you know, like it's important, but it's not the most important thing. That's going to let you sharpen the axe before you cut down the tree. So it's going to take you like a lot less time to get it right. Is there
a rule of thumb? Like if your monthly revenue is X, or, you know, after expenses, is there a rule of thumb as to how much
to pay people or whatever?
Yeah. Well, how much you invest in staff?
Well, I mean, we think about it differently because when we want to add staff, we think of a promotion that will add 40 members. Like that's how I think about it. You know what I'm saying? But we have a budget. We know we know if we're in the red and the black, and if you can hire part-time or full-time, and so I don't think there's necessarily a rule of thumb. My rule of thumb is, one, the business has to serve me first, or I'm not going to do the business. So I have to be paid. We are a profit first company. We believe in profit first. It's a book by a guy named Mike Michalowicz. And we pay the business first, we pay Shane and Jocelyn second, and we pay the rest third. And if we ever get to a point where we can't pay the rest third, then we will have to reduce staff or reduce systems or reduce payments, right? Okay. So that's the order we do things in. We we hire as close to monthly revenue as we can, right? We want it to be as predictable as possible, because I usually don't hire outside of what monthly memberships would pay, because I can never count on coaching or annual or lifetime. We don't know if someone's going to take those. We just offer them and hope people, or not hope people take them, but we strategically try to get people to take them. But I know my numbers enough where I know if I've got X members and they all stay this long, then my future revenue looks like this. Right. And so that's how we think about it. If I was looking at a percentage, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I mean, I would never pay half of monthly. I would want it to be at least half of monthly recurring revenue, right? And I would also hire slowly and bring people on slowly. Like I would hire the first person and wait 3 to 6 months, then build the revenue up, and like evaluate if it produced more revenue, right? Reduce grind, increase profits. So like I don't think there's an exact rule of thumb, I don't know if I would hire people with big hit money though, like you just made, right?
No, it's not dependable.
Yeah, it's not dependable, because I mean, your next promotion might be half of that. We did 200 members in May this year. Like we had a big promotion to 200 members. I ran the same exact deal another month and we got like 35. So it's just weird. It just is like, like sometimes things hit and they don't, and you're always trying to throw mud on the wall. But you can usually look at your monthly recurring revenue and say, well, the average member stays 7 months. I can hire somebody. So rely on that. Don't overextend yourself, and make sure you're paying yourself first, and then you're doing the things. Also, too, when you do that job scorecard, you better know your role first before you hire the second person, right? Like my role is to write emails and podcasts. I know that. That's my job in this business, and lead the team. I'm the team leader. Okay. But if I don't know that, then I might try to hire somebody to write emails, and that don't work. Right? I can hire somebody to do emails later, but right now that's my job. So what are the other things that can reduce my grind and increase my profits? That's how I hire next. So, what do you think you need right now? That might be helpful. Like, what do you think?
Right now I do everything. I'm, solo. So the content creation on one side, which is huge. And we're doing, our next class in theology is called Theology Proper. Theology is a general term for all, salvation and Jesus and end time. So that's theology. Theology proper is the study of God himself, the Trinity, the attributes, the nature, and the names of God, right? So that's coming. So I'm producing that content right now. That's coming in as a live class in January of 2021, depending on when people are listening to this or watching this. But at the back end, I'm also writing all the emails. I'm writing all the I'm going into Ads Manager of Facebook with fear and trembling. Every time I open that, it's different, and I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm gradually learning how to set up those ads. So I'm doing all that. I'm doing the marketing. I'm doing the emails. I've got really big machine set up inside of the email world, Active Campaign, just to keep in touch with people. So I'm doing it all. I think, and then interacting with students, customer service. Reading papers. So I'm not quite sure. I think there are a couple of things in terms of just managing email setup, managing customer service. Those would probably be two really big helpful things that would free me up to focus more on content and more on positive interactions with people, handling the machinery, technology. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
I think I'm still trying to figure out what parts I want to. I love the content. I love the content creation. I love this morning we have Greek class, and that's optional for people. That's the kind of the upper tier for people who want to take it. And it was so much fun. It's 30 minutes, and the people have never read a letter of Greek in their lives, but it's super fun. We're making it's a kinder, gentler Greek class. And this whole program is a kinder, gentler approach to theology. But some of the more logistical or tactical or technical back-end stuff would probably be good to hand off.
It sounds like what I'm hearing is, and I would you being a pastor, like are you an every Sunday morning pastor? Like you preach every Sunday morning, right?
Most every Sunday, yeah.
Right. So you're a stage guy. You're on stage. You love you're a creative from a content perspective. You like to deeply like get into your topic and look at it and create something cool. And you like to connect with the people, right? Stuff like that. So I would say probably the way that you could reduce grind and increase profit is kind of like handing off like certain things to like, people in your church, like a deacon or somebody else, right? Like that customer service, that individual personal touch does seem like a good target because that allows you to stay in front and keep driving forward, but that's going to reduce grind. You don't have to check customer service and you increase profit because they're going to help you retain people longer. Yeah. That's a great place to invest first when you run a membership community is customer service, community management, and get people like in there, right? Even though it feels like probably the heavier tasks or the tech task and the learning task, like that might be something to keep for a minute just so you can learn a little more to get the language right so that when you hire someone, you'll know why you need them and what they want. But what you could do is don't be afraid to go, everybody wants to jump into part-time, full-time help, right? Like, don't be afraid to go to agencies and the agency model and the freelancer model and, get somebody that could sit in there with you 3 hours a week when you set up your Facebook ads and explain things to you to help you learn, right? Like you want someone who will partner with you and you can work together. Like you're probably going to be in charge of the messaging and the creative, right?
Yep.
So keep messaging and creative, but get somebody who's technical that you can pay $500 a month for or $1,000 just for a couple hours, just so you've got someone to help you not be trembling. You're like, I don't know how to set this up. And they're like, oh, I got you. Right. So that could be a solution to get you to the place where you're doing it. One thing I do recommend when people have a growing membership, and it's really that 100, until you get in the 100, 200 member range, like, or whatever it is, like, I like for people to keep a hold of the emails and stuff because it's their messaging. Like you've got to really hammer the baseline. You're evolving as you go. You're changing and pivoting your messaging to get more sales and to get more results. And like, you're kind of ironing that out right now and you're good at it, because you're a message maker. You're a pastor. You write sermons, Yeah. So hang on to that, but maybe customer service and hire like a part-time ad person just to get 10 hours off of you. Right.
That's a good idea.
Breathing room. Yeah. You don't got to go down the rabbit hole and hire anybody yet. Okay.
I like that. That's awesome.
Man. So what I don't usually ask this question. I usually ask like what you're going to do in 24 hours, but I'm going to see you in we got another big session of our thing where I'm doing right now, my workshop, and I see in the community, but like what is your vision for this? Like, what is that mission? Because I need to ask people that more. Like, what's your mission? So, like, what is the big grand vision?
I don't know how this would work, but my vision would be that churches across the country use Veritas for the next level. I think if you're in a church for a long time, so you grew up in a church, or maybe you've moved around from church to church, but the longer you're in church, you outgrow that church. You've heard it all. You've heard that sermon, you've heard that joke, you've heard that story, you've heard it all. And the challenge becomes for the higher level people, what to do with them. And of course, there's service, but there's still growth. There's still room to grow. We don't, as Christians, we believe we don't outgrow the word of God, right? So I would love to see churches across the country take this model. I'm in a denomination, but we just see it everywhere where someone wants to go into ministry or become a missionary and they've got $40,000 of student loan debt.
Yeah.
They've got $80,000 of student loan debt because they had to get their Master of Divinity degree or their MA or whatever they got. And I'm like, you know what? You could do this for a tiny fraction of that and not burden anybody and not make them move to this other school. So if churches could own this, or if there were enough pastors who had a passion to take this material or just use the videos and run groups through it, I think they'd lock in and and kind of re-energize the advanced part of their congregations. So I don't know how that would work. I don't know what that would look like, but that's one thing that's crossed my mind. And then I let it float away because it's too much other stuff at this point. But long term, I could see something like that going on.
That'd be awesome, dude. And that throws that pebble in the pond and gets it even farther. And that's just a business to business membership. We used to do it with schools. Well, we still do it with schools. But like all you do is you just sell licenses. Like, oh, I got 10 people in this 8-week program, and then they get in and they can come through the program and upsell, right? Dave Ramsey does that. That's exactly what he does when he sells Total Money Makeover to churches. Like he just takes them and says, "Hey, you pay me a discount. I'll give you 20 of these books. You go do a Total Money Makeover." They're down his rabbit hole. They go to the next level. It's all good, man. You can totally accomplish that. Well, listen, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on here. I know sometimes when we have a big success like that, it can be uncomfortable sharing it, right? And like, man, I'm telling you, dude, it's going to inspire people to see what's possible, not only in the money, but in the mission. And I know that this is just the beginning of what you're doing. And man, I'm just glad to be along for the ride. And every once in a while, checking the GPS to point where we're going while you drive the car. So, Bill, thank you, man, for so much for being on the show today.
Hey, that's awesome. Hey, can I share a Bible verse?
Well, yeah, you can share a Bible verse. I was about to. Yeah, we share Bible verses all the time on the Fifth Lifestyle podcast, right. And I love it when guests do it.
Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10.
No gimmick needed. That one stands on its own, baby. Love it, Bill. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that is an awesome story of success straight out of the Flipped Lifestyle community. And I'm just so excited for Bill. I'm so excited for his mission. I'm so excited for the money he's making. And I'm so excited for what he is about to accomplish next as he watches his online business, his mission, and his membership grow into the future. And that is what we are all about here at Flipped Lifestyle. We are trying to help as many families as possible build a business that can change their family's future and build a business that will let you go out and impact people all over the world. That is what is possible when normal people, pastors, teachers, farmers, all sorts of people in the Flipped Lifestyle community go out there and actually take action. When you don't fill out half the form, you fill out the entire form and you join the community and you do the work and you take action and you watch those great things happen. We would love you to fill out the whole form and join the Flipped Lifestyle community over at flippedlifestyle.com/free. We offer a 30-day trial to all brand new members of the Flipped Lifestyle community. You can come in and see all of the training courses that Bill took to build and grow and get his business to the next level. You can hang out with Bill in the Flipped Lifestyle community with all of our other members, hundreds of family-focused individuals from around the world. And you get to hang out with me on member calls and watch parties and all of those things. We do all that we can to help you with coaching, with community, and with content that's going to help you start, build, and grow a successful membership site too. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free, FLIPPED, lifestyle.com/free. Go and start your 30-day free trial today. All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week. So until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then. Also, if you would like to learn more about the Membership Masters newsletter, my monthly marketing newsletter where I give you a daily promotion plan. I tell you exactly what to do, exactly how to sell it every single day of every single month. You can learn more about that over at membershipmasters.com. We also have a free trial to get your first issue of the Membership Masters newsletter absolutely free. All we ask is that you cover a little bit of shipping and handling, but we will send that out to you next month so that you can get your membership marketing to the next level, just like Bill did in November. That's membershipmasters.com to get your first issue absolutely free.
I would so recommend that, first of all, and I'm getting lost on the names, but the newsletter, Membership Masters newsletter,
yep,
the day-by-day calendar is, 10 times worth its weight in gold. That'll pay anybody back who is just diligent enough to follow through. Oh, that's amazing. Then there is the what is the group I'm in? I don't know. It changed names.
Okay, yeah. So you're in a bunch of different things. You have everything. Like
right.
So we got the Flip Lifestyle community is our big general community. It's kind of DIY, right?
Okay.
Membership Masters newsletters for marketing, and you are in the Membership Masters sales funnel workshop where I'm teaching you how to set up the automation on the back end.
The Membership Masters sales funnel is mind blowing. Because you've opened the hood on the car and you're showing not only what the engine looks like, you're saying how to put it together. And that once it's together, it's amazing. This is going to take so much work off my plate. It's going to give me, it's the machine that I've been looking for to try. When you're new at this, you don't know what to do and what pieces you need and you got ideas, but are they good? But you've been down this road. You and Jocelyn, I mean, you've been down this road. You've perfected these systems, and no one's really giving them. I mean, and I've looked around, but here I'm in this group, and I'm like, okay, here's lesson one. Here's the first part of the machine, and the price of least resistance, and all this, and then here's lesson two, and here's lesson three, and then all the email follow-ups and all the email structures. It's absolutely brilliant. It's been a super blessing to me, and it's what I've been looking for. Again, I'm like, I need the map. You're giving me the box top of the puzzle. So all these million pieces finally make sense. And so I'm super pumped.
Awesome,
I'm excited. I'm grateful.
I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're part of my community and my life. And I can't wait to see what happens next, man. It's going to be awesome, dude. One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.